There is a trait. Ignore it, and the world will erase you without hesitation. It won't matter how clever you are. It won't matter how much talent you think you hold. Without this trait, the timid will outrun you. The reckless will outmaneuver. You and the undeserving will take everything that should have been yours. It isn't courage. It isn't charm. It isn't even brutality. It is invisibility inside dominance. A presence that cannot be read. A silence that cannot be broken. A mind that cannot be predicted. Those who wield it are untouchable. They move through the world unseen, forcing reality to bend to their timing, their terms, their rules. Those who lack it bleed out opportunities. They betray themselves with every word, every hesitation, every display, and then they vanish, unnoticed, forgotten. This is the dark trait. The trait that turns hesitation into irrelevance. The trait that gives the bold their unfair advantage. By the time this lesson ends, you will know how to wield it yourself. You'll learn how to walk into any room and leave unreadable. How to enter a conversation and give away nothing. How to turn silence into leverage, absence into authority, and mystery into dominance. But hear this clearly. Most men never even realize this war exists. They stumble through life thinking it's about obvious contests, promotions, approval, recognition, relationships. They believe merit matters. They think the game is fair. They are blind. The real battlefield is invisible. A war fought in glances, pauses, hesitations, and silences. And if you cannot see it, you will be devoured by those who can. Every decision, every micro-expression, every casual word is a move on a board no one has given you the rules to. Most men play openly. They explain too much. They justify themselves. They reveal their weaknesses before anyone even asks. And in doing so, they become predictable. And in a world that rewards ruthlessness, predictability is a death sentence. Strength isn't in muscle. It isn't in charm. It isn't even in raw intelligence. Those are obvious, and what is obvious can be measured, countered, destroyed. True power is invisible. It is the presence that bends perception without effort. It is the silence that forces others to reveal themselves. It is the absence that gnaws at those who cannot explain it. Look at the men who dominate without noise. They rarely boast. They never beg. They don't chase opportunities. They draw them. While the reckless rush forward, thinking, they are winning. The silent strategist has already arranged the ending. And here is the cruel truth. Hesitation is fatal. Life does not wait. Life does not forgive. Every second you hesitate, someone else moves, and the opportunity vanishes forever. Every weakness you display becomes a weapon others can use. Every apology, every over-explained answer, every attempt to please becomes a thread others will pull until you are strangled by your own transparency. The more visible you are, the more disposable you become. Observation, then, is your first weapon. Watch without reacting. Listen without responding. Let others reveal themselves in full, their fears, their hungers, their vanity. The man who understands before acting controls the battlefield. Knowledge before motion is leverage no one can steal. Reacting is submission. Responding is weakness. But acting with invisible precision, that is dominance. Most men don't see it, and they never will. They believe the world rewards skill, hard work, and honesty. But the world does not reward the worthy. It rewards the unseen, the patient, the unreadable. Those who master this battlefield hold a power that looks almost supernatural. They bend outcomes to their terms, not by shouting, not by forcing, but by mastering perception. And those who don't? They bleed opportunities, betray themselves, and vanish quietly. Their absence only matters when someone sharper takes what they left behind. This world is a silent battlefield, and most men are walking into it unarmed. What separates the victorious from the expendable is not bravery, not strength, not charm. It is mastery of the invisible war. The victors carry a weapon unseen, unstoppable. They bend the world without effort. They move like shadows, and only those who move like shadows survive. There is a power the world cannot measure, but it reacts to instantly, not in wealth, not in force, not in words. It is in the absence of the expected, the silence where others shout, the restraint where others erupt, the calm where others panic. Men mistake noise for influence. They believe visibility is power. They strut, they shout, they crave attention. They think being noticed equals being respected. It does not. True dominance never announces itself. It waits, it observes. It shapes the room without effort, without noise, without demand. A single glance, a pause at the right moment, a carefully timed absence. These are the weapons of the strategist who understands the edge of mystery. Presence alone is not enough. Subtlety is the key. Those who master this power move in a space no one else can map. Their motives unreadable. Their next move invisible. Their influence untraceable. People sense them before they see them. Instinctively they hesitate. They second guess. They reveal themselves first. And in that hesitation the strategist strikes, not with force but with inevitability. Every interaction is a battlefield, and most men don't even know they've entered it. Observation is your sword. Every word chosen, every pause, every hidden gesture is data. And while others rush to explain, to justify, to prove, the strategist remains unmoved, gathering intelligence, calculating timing, shaping perception. Power does not need noise. It needs patience, precision, restraint. Most men are predictable. Their fears, their hungers, their vanity, transparent. They act when insulted. They chase when tempted. They overcommit when flattered. Their intentions leak from every glance, every tone, every posture. The dangerous man does none of this. He reacts rarely. He speaks only when necessary. And when he speaks, every word is sharp as a blade. His silence is louder than their shouts. His absence is more commanding than their presence. Ambiguity becomes his weapon. People fear what they cannot read. When you conceal your intent, you create a vacuum. They fill it with their own guesses, anxieties, and mistakes. They act first. They expose themselves first. They stumble before you ever lift a finger. This is not instinct. It is deliberate mastery. It begins with self-control, with restraint, with the refusal to show too much. Every unnecessary word is a leash. Every emotional reaction is a chain. Every attempt to explain is an opening. Cut them all. You act only on your own timing, never the world's. Control is the outcome. Not control through intimidation, but control through perception. People respond to uncertainty with fear, with respect, with deference. They miscalculate when they cannot read you. They concede ground because they do not understand you. The fewer signals you give, the stronger they become. In the absence of certainty, others overreach, exposing themselves and giving you victory without effort. The truly dangerous man is unreadable, unpredictable, unprovoked. He doesn't compete in the visible world, because the visible world is a trap. He operates beneath it, above it, beyond it. Influence is silent. Authority is hidden. Power is invisible until it strikes, and when it does, it leaves no trace of effort. Those without this ability are exposed. They are loud, predictable, transparent. The world tests them, pushes them, manipulates them, and discards them. They bleed out opportunities, chase illusions, and vanish without a sound. But the one who cultivates the edge of mystery, he bends reality itself. Others stumble for him, reveal themselves for him, act on his behalf without ever knowing it. This is the dark advantage, not noise, not force, not visibility, but restraint, silence, subtlety, the difference between the man who is used and the man who is untouchable. Silence is not emptiness. It is strategy. Every pause, every absence, every unreadable glance, a weapon sharper than steel. Momentum does not belong to the loudest. It belongs to the unseen strategist, the one who waits while others stumble, who observes while others gamble, who calculates while others bleed. Observation first. Every gesture, every hesitation, every word. A piece of data, a clue. And you? You remain unreadable. You do not justify. You do not react. You collect intelligence like a predator circling prey. Patient. Silent. Calculating. Control comes not from presence but from absence. Presence can be challenged, but absence creates fear. Scarcity creates speculation, and speculation breeds mistakes. The world despises a vacuum. It will fill it with fear, with guesses, with overreactions, and every one of those mistakes belongs to you. Timing, then, becomes everything. A single pause, a single silence at the right moment can shift the balance of power in a room. You never move when others demand it. You move when the advantage is already yours. And when you do, the world reacts, not because it understands, but because it must. Influence is not argued into existence. It is imposed by perception. Predictability is weakness. The world loves patterns, labels, categories. If they can label you, they can control you. If they can map you, they can predict you. But a man who cannot be labeled becomes untouchable. He terrifies precisely because no one knows where he stands. Reveal nothing but what serves your control. Let them guess. Let them misread. And in their guesses, they give themselves away. Emotion is a leash. Most men are yanked around by it every day. Praise, insult, rejection, temptation. They all pull the weak like strings. But the strategist feels everything and acts on nothing, unless it serves him. Anger becomes calculation. Desire becomes leverage. Insult becomes intelligence. Restraint is not coldness, it is mastery. And mastery is dominance. Restraint is the foundation, but timing is the execution. What is restraint without the strike? What is silence without the moment where silence becomes thunder? The dangerous man does not remain silent forever. He withholds until the world cannot bear the weight of his absence. Then at the precise moment he moves. And when he moves, the impact is multiplied tenfold. Noise demands attention. But silence builds tension, and tension is influence. The crowd fears the one who withholds, because they cannot measure him. They do not know what he knows, or when he will act. His silence forces them to reveal themselves, to fill the vacuum, to stumble forward. And then, without warning, he steps out of the dark. This is the paradox. By doing less, you control more. By saying less, you dictate more. By showing less, you own more. The enemy reveals himself in noise. The strategist conquers in silence. Imagine two generals. One shouts, boasts, threatens. He declares every move before he makes it. His army marches loudly, confident that fear comes from spectacle. The other says nothing. His banners remain hidden. His soldiers are shadows. The first general laughs, thinking his silence weakness. But when battle begins, the silent general's strike comes from an angle unseen, at a timing unpredicted. And the boastful general, so busy listening to his own echo, is destroyed. The lesson is eternal. Concealment beats display. Restraint beats exposure. Mystery beats noise. When you reveal nothing, the world reveals itself to you. This is why absence is more powerful than presence. The man who is always available, always explaining, always displaying himself. He is common, predictable, disposable. But the man who vanishes, the man whose silence stretches just long enough to unnerve, his absence forces others to orbit him. They wonder where he is, what he is planning, why he has not spoken. And in their speculation, they become obsessed. Absence is not weakness. It is gravity. Every absence increases your value. Every silence sharpens your mystery. Every unanswered question builds your authority. The loud man floods the room with his presence. The silent man bends the room with his absence. Understand this clearly. Value is created through scarcity. The less you reveal, the more they demand. The less you show, the more they imagine. The less you speak, the more they listen when you finally do. Noise is cheap. Silence is priceless. But here is where most men fail. They think silence is passivity. They think absence is laziness. They mistake mystery for avoidance. That is not mastery. That is weakness pretending to be strength. True silence is deliberate, calculated, weaponized. Every pause is measured. Every absence is chosen. Every unreadable expression is sharpened. Silence without calculation is emptiness. Silence with calculation is dominance. And this brings us to the final lesson. Silence is not retreat. It is preparation. When you restrain yourself, when you wait, when you vanish, you are not escaping. You are sharpening the blade. You are watching the board. You are preparing the strike. This is why the strategist's power seems supernatural. To the loud, to the reckless, to the transparent, his silence looks like hesitation. But when the moment comes, his timing is perfect. His action is inevitable. His strike is unanswerable. And the world realizes, too late, that his silence was not weakness. It was the patience of a predator. The battlefield of life is not won by the fastest, not by the loudest, not by the most visible. It is won by those who wait until the opponent has destroyed himself. And when he has, you move. Swiftly, decisively, silently. The man who masters silence does not need to fight every battle. He chooses only those that guarantee victory. His absence lets others waste energy. His restraint lets others overexpose themselves. His timing ensures that when he moves, the outcome is already decided. To most, this looks like luck. To the strategist, it is design. Remember this. The world never punishes noise. It consumes it. But it always fears silence, because silence cannot be controlled. Noise can be debated. Silence cannot. Noise can be dismissed. Silence cannot. Noise can be mapped. Silence cannot. Silence forces imagination, and imagination is always darker, always heavier, always more terrifying than the truth. This is the art of invisible dominance, not in shouting, but in withholding. Not in display, but in concealment. Not in constant motion, but in controlled timing. You become the ghost in every room, present but unreadable, absent but unforgettable, silent, yet louder than every voice around you. And those who encounter you cannot explain why they hesitate, why they defer, why they respect. They only know that something about you is untouchable. That is the weapon. Not force, not charm, not visibility, but silence sharpened into steel, absence turned into gravity, mystery forged into inevitability. The dangerous man does not need to prove himself. He does not need to display. He does not need to convince. He waits. He watches. He withholds. And when he moves, the world bends to his strike. This is the lesson. The weak never learn. They chase validation. They reveal themselves too early. They bleed out their power by making themselves predictable. They expose themselves to those who are sharper, hungrier, more patient. And when they fall, they do not even understand why. But you now understand. The invisible battlefield. The war of restraint, absence, and timing. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. It is authority. It is power. Noise is forgotten, but silence lingers, and mystery endures. Master this, and the world will bend to your rhythm. Ignore it, and you will vanish. Like every loud, predictable man before you, the choice is yours. Noise or silence, visibility or mystery, weakness or dominance. Those who understand will never reveal themselves fully again. They will speak less, but their words will carry more weight. They will appear less, but their absence will matter more. They will act less, but every action will be decisive. And those who don't, they will drown in their own noise. They will bleed out their advantage. They will vanish, forgotten, predictable, irrelevant. But you, if you choose silence as strategy, absence as weapon, and restraint as authority, you will not vanish. You will endure. You will dominate. You will win. For in the end, the world does not belong to the loud. It does not belong to the reckless. It does not belong to the visible. The world belongs to the man who can withhold, who can vanish, who can strike with perfect timing. The world belongs to the unreadable. The world belongs to the invisible. The world belongs to the man who walks in silence.